Game number 1 of the second leg of round 2. You might want to edit the scene on your OBS Indy to extend the scoreboard. It's kind of weird.
Um, okay, I'm not gonna do that on the fly right now. I want to make sure that it first switches to Rome 2. Okay, it has.
It
Okay,
does. It
all right.
is.
Good. So we are now into the game, and it looks like Tribal Warriors are going to be the main line for Tylis, kind of to be expected, to be honest. Main line of Tribal Warriors, Oathsworn, some Javelin Cavalry on the flanks, and some Thracian Warriors, which we did not see Prussian Prince bring in the first, or the game 2 of his matchup with Llewellyn. He has Celtic Warriors out on the flanks. And then
Sorry,
some...
Indy. I gotta stop you. I gotta stop you. You need to go to your OBS and extend the scoreboard. The black box is in the middle of the screen. Just go to the
Okay.
scene, hit edit scene, and extend the scoreboard.
Which scene is it?
It's the one that we're with Rome in it.
In-game best of 3. Okay, yeah, got it. Sorry.
Alright. Now we can get into the business.
Alright, so looks like Raiding Horsemen out on the flanks, and looking at Rome's build, honestly, very meta build from them. Hastati front line for them, and in behind them, Legionary cohorts, a lot of Legionary cohorts, and some Evocati out on the flanks, and he actually brought 2 Balearic Slingers as well, so he's going to have some skirmish power, and looks like Tylis right now is going to be taking at least his right flank up on top of that hill, and it's going to be very hard for Panda Warrior to engage over there. But especially, he's not going to really be able to make him get off the hill very easily because he has, with those Balearic Slingers, they're not going to really do a lot of damage to the units in the woods. So I think making AggonyDuck get off this hill might be pretty difficult. It's good that he has the 150 range Slingers, but might not be easy for him. And in a melee engagement, who do you think has the melee engagement advantage in this battle?
I mean, given the way that they're both lined up, I give the advantage a little bit to Rome, just because when we were talking a little bit earlier, before we had the technical difficulties, I said that if Rome does these kind of double-ranked plays, where they'll use one line of cheap sword units to kind of wear down the opponent's front line, and then use the more cost-effective veteran legionary and legionary cohort backlines, they will actually be able to deal with anything that Tylis brings. But AggonyDuck is doing a smart thing here. He has some Celtic Warriors at the front, and actually Celtic Warriors, pound for pound, will actually eat up Hastati.
They will destroy
so
them.
he's gonna need to indeed line up against these Hastati well with his own cheap units, and I think his raiding horsemen should actually be targeting the Cav now to prevent these Cav from Panda Warrior to be able to again prevent the Celtic Warriors from getting the engagement on the Hastati. I think the defining moment of this battle will most likely be how those Hastati are used and what units are going to get torn down or sort of lose their HP and a little bit of the unit count on them with the Hastati. Again, as you said, the hill position, though, it's looking really, really good for Duck, and that forest is going to basically nullify those 2 units of skirmishers that Panda Warrior has brought here today.
I think that is a really important thing about Barbarian versus Rome matchups, though, is that Hastati actually loses 2 Celtic Warriors. And so, if they just straight up engage all the Hastati with all the Celtic Warriors, which I doubt Panda Warrior will do because I'm sure he knows the matchup and knows that Hastati won't beat them pound for pound, then he would definitely be in trouble. But we're definitely going to be seeing Hastati try to blunt the charges of a lot of these higher charge by Barbarian infantry. And so, even though you might see a Hastati engage an Oathsworn at some points, and they'll get shredded, there's no question, they are throwaway units. The entire point of bringing a Hastati front line is to blunt the charge of Barbarian infantry and just prevent them from really wrecking your important units, which in this battle
Absolutely.
will be the veteran legionnaires, legionary cohorts, and the Evocati cohort in the back line.
Absolutely. If we take a look at some of the stats here, the charge bonus on the Barbarian infantry really ranges anywhere from 26 upwards to 35 on the Oathsworn. But then you look at the Roman infantry, which are more kind of organized, disciplined, in place. 12 charge bonus on the Hastati, and then you have a 14 charge bonus on the backlines. So as you said, blunting those charges is going to be huge. The Soki Equites, I think, are mainly brought for that reason, but now they're being used as thwarting units to kind of push away these raiding horsemen. And believe it or not, I don't think the raiding horsemen really want to be wasting too much ammo on these Soki Equites right at this stage in the game. especially not with the presence of this auxiliary Lyric Slinger that's going to be able to trade pretty well with them. And look, this is very smart from Panda Warrior. He's parking up in the forest. He's like, sure, you want to waste ammo on my units while they're sitting in the forest? Go ahead and do that. I don't mind. And then he's using his own skirmishers here to thwart them off, so the only path they can really come is through here. So again, good play, good use of terrain, but Duck is just kind of sitting nice and cozy up on this hill over here. It's going to be pretty difficult for Panda Warrior to assault this position. One thing that I think we've kind of not talking about yet is these two units here. These are going to be extremely crucial when the frontal engagement happens. Thracian Warriors can absolutely tear apart units if they attack from the rear, or if they get a flanking bonus. They have a 36 charge bonus with
and a 45
weapon damage and 46 melee attacks. Those guys are just meant to tear through units that are engaged frontally. So again, it's all about the charge.
Miss Micro from AggonyDuck here. The skirmish mode on this game is bugged, and he's actually going to get his Galatian Raiders charged. He did not mean to do that at all. They should run away every time a unit gets within a certain range of them, but they didn't actually at this point, and he actually got them caught, and that entire unit just shattered. So that's a problem, and that means that it's going to open up some access to the Thracian Warriors, who actually do have a bonus versus cavalry and are decent versus them, but they have very low armor and no shield. So charges wreck them, but they can actually kill cavalry.
They kill cavalry really well. You can see already the Soki Equites are actually taking so much punishment.
They're taking a lot of damage, actually.
Insane.
And like, the reason he can take this engagement is because they're in the woods, and the charge bonus just didn't do that much to them. So I think that was definitely a mistake from Panda Warrior to engage them, because if that had been on the open plain and he hammer and anvil from both sides, charged them in, they would have been fine, and those Thracian Warriors would probably be dead. But he engaged in the woods where the charge bonus went down by a lot. The cavalry was not as effective in melee combat in the woods, and they just lost a lot of units there, and that was not a good trade for Panda Warrior at all.
Definitely not. Soki Equites, just normal Soki Equites, don't really have the best of charge. And you know, funny enough, the Thracian Warriors actually take me back to the Walko Raider unit in Shogun 2. I don't know, like, in my head they kind of feel similar. But here we go. They're actually going to be pushing the cav outside of the forest right now. And I don't know if they should really be doing this. More infantry coming in from Duck, who has chosen to peel off a good portion of his army. I mean, from Panda Warrior, sorry. And this actually is going to give Duck the opportunity to press forward on this right position.
He can run away, though. Sure. I think he'll just run away with his main line and try to isolate these Thracian Warriors, get them charged from multiple angles. And now they're on the open plain, so he might be able to get some good charges off. He might bait the charge, and then charge in from a different angle, but looks like he's actually going to go straight in and then quickly pull out and hopefully tie them down so the Avocado cohort can catch up. Yeah, see, now in the open plain, the Thracian Warriors get wrecked. In the woods, they don't, though. They have a bonus versus cav, so you have to be very cautious how you engage with them.
Totally. This is how you deal with them, absolutely. And they don't have high armor either, so bringing this one auxiliary unit is a really good choice. And you can see now some jab hits peppering against these Thracian Warriors. This is a pretty sizable army of a pretty sizable chunk of Duck's army that he's going to be losing now. And let's see if he can actually capitalize. But as you said, very good withdrawal here by Panda Warrior, who's going to probably set up somewhere around here and try to prevent Duck from using that forest again. The hill advantage still looks in the favor of Duck slightly.
And he just tried to countercharge with the Thracian Warriors, and they actually were not able to catch the Soki Equites. Interesting thing about the Equites is that they actually have higher mass than some other Roman cavalry units, so that's probably why he brought them. Their charge bonus isn't massive, but they can kind of knock over units better, and especially against Thracian Warriors. If he's not engaging in the woods like he is right now, again, they usually do really well, but he might lose a lot of cavalry right here. If you quickly pull out after a charge, you don't lose very many cavalry units because most of the infantry units are going to get knocked down. So that was actually a really good engagement, and the Legionary cohort are going to follow up, and now these Thracian Warriors should probably get cut down very quickly in melee combat.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at like the trading that basically happened, I think most of these Equites and Soki Equites have actually lost for their numbers to just try to deal with these two Thracian Warriors. At the beginning, it looked like it was a smart idea, but like overall, I think it's not really been very cost-effective for Panda Warrior over here. Like, sure, Duck lost 2 units and maybe 1 unit of Raiding Horse. Or no, he didn't even lose a single unit of Raiding Horse. He lost 2 units of Thracian Warrior.
He did lose one. He did lose one.
Did he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
It shattered. I saw it.
Yeah, he lost 1 and then he lost 2. I don't know. It's probably still a little bit cost-effective for Agony Panda Warrior, but it's not as good as it could have been.
Well, I wouldn't trade my cavalry units for a Thracian warrior if I could avoid
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, the Thracian warriors are nice for Duck to have out on the flanks, but they're expected to die. And Panda Warriors lost a lot of his cavalry. A lot of his Sukiai Equites and Equites are just really beaten to hell at this point. So I think he kind of got overzealous engaging the Thracian warriors in the woods, but certainly I don't think that's going to, well, it might dictate the pace of this game, but especially because a lot of the cavalry's gone. But I'm not sure that it's going to be the biggest deal, because I think Rome still has the tools to possibly win an infantry engagement here if he takes it well. But another Sukiai Equites is gone now, and that means that the raiding horse are going to have some opportunity to harass the flank. Now, I don't know how much ammo they have left. They run out of ammo very quickly. They don't have very many shots. I believe they only have 7 volleys. Yeah, they only have 7 ammunition, so
yep,
he's already used a decent amount of that so far.
And, I mean, really, if you think about the Cav from Panda Warrior's perspective, like, they're not... 4 units of Equites and Soki Equites are not really going to be able to trade cost-effectively with 3 units of Raiding Horse.
No.
I think Panda Warrior would have probably been better off trying to use these units to, again, slow and blunt charges at the front. Because now what we saw begin as a 2-ranked line from Panda Warrior has kind of devolved into like this weird 1-line thing, and this is actually really, really good for Duck. This is what Duck wants. He wants a spread out line that he can engage pound for pound across the line. That way he'll be able to break through Hastati patches and then get around those strong Evocati and Legionary cohorts that are like tattered around the line. So like here he can break through and then he can easily surround. But again, very interesting decision from Panda Warrior to place all of his Hastati on one flank. And again, you can see he's slowly starting to form what was those 2 lines, but they're kind of isolated.
Well, it was a very interesting move right there. Duck actually threw in his Galatian Raider, or Raiding Horseman, unsupported, into the back line to try to do some damage to the Balearic Slingers. And I don't think that was a good trade at all, because he got 18 kills on the Balearic Slinger, but he lost an entire full-strength cav unit. And here we go. Melee engagement started now. Celtic Warriors get into the Evocati cohort, and actually, they got a rear charge off there. They're kind of doing a lot of damage. Normally, this unit would not be doing well in melee combat at all, and they will start to lose now, but they actually did quite a bit of damage to the Evocati cohort, got a good rear charge off, and now all across the line, melee engagements are starting. Hastati against the Tribal Warriors, that's not going to work at all, but he's going to blunt the charge and follow up with the Legionary cohort charge, so if he can pull out or just prevent the Tribal Warriors from getting a good charge bonus on the better sword units, which he's done here, it's a really good move. A lot of the other Tribal Warriors are now looking to engage, and Oathsworn here against the Legionary cohort, they're going to shred through that, and he popped Battle Rhythm and Headhunt. So as soon as those wear off, he's going to put down Second Wind, get his Oathsworn back to get rid of their exhaustion, and they'll be back to fighting strength again, and they're going to do a lot of damage in this melee fight. They're already
here come the Tribal Warriors. They're going to smash into these Hastati. There are 3 units of the veteran Legionaries, 1 Legionary cohort, 2 Legionary cohorts behind that, but look at the right flank of AggonyDuck. Here comes the pain.
Yeah.
2 units of Thracian Warriors.
And an Oathsworn.
Get behind, and there's nothing.
There's nothing on
everything's
the left engaged.
Flank. Like it's just gonna be a massacre when these guys get in there. Something miraculous is gonna happen for Rome. Something miraculous needs to happen.
AggonyDuck has got them stuck. He actually wants to get a full rear charge off. If he takes the time to actually place them right here and get a full rear charge off on these units, he would destroy them. But he actually kind of he catches it now. He's pulling through. Or not pulling through, but he's gonna pull out of that engagement and try to get a charge bonus. And this whole left flank for Rome is going to crumble because he has no units to counter them. Everything's engaged, but that doesn't mean that he can't win the right flank and then turn it around, and I think he has a chance to do that. The general is isolated, almost at full strength though, and these cavalry units are depleted, so they're not going to do a lot of damage. I think this is in Tylis' favor right now. I think this is definitely in Tylis' favor.
Absolutely, Tylis' favor, absolutely. Even that Oathsworn, like it's fighting Evocati cohort, is fighting the Legatus, it's fighting an Equites, it's gonna start getting like shot at with these auxiliary Balearic Slingers, but it's an Oathsworn unit that has 87 armor and 65 hit points. It's gonna be able to stand there for a while, where at the meantime, here comes the rear charges from the Thracian Warriors, who are starting to do some devastating damage. And look, Duck actually sees this, he's gonna pull out, he's like, okay, I've lost this flank, maybe I need to fall back and try to help the flank where I think I have a chance in winning. But even here, once these units die, once these Tylis units die, you're gonna have battered legionary.
They're gonna be very depleted after that, yeah.
That are gonna have to fight against this. So it's gonna be really difficult for our Roman player here to turn this around, unless we see some incredible.
Oathsworn might have died. Oathsworn General might have just died. They're in red morale, which doesn't happen very often. They're taking fire, losing current combat. General's still alive, but they're down to 44 men. Really good target firing from the Balearic Slingers. Just did a ton of damage there. He might be able to turn this now. The Oathsworn are, they're wavering. They're just routed. They just shattered. Oh my god, his General just shattered. That was extremely good focus fire from the Balearic Slingers, and now he's winning in the middle. And if he gets them around the flank into these tribal warriors, he might be able to turn this engagement.
Oh my goodness, this is absolutely incredible. I was just about to say, like, the use of those auxiliary Balearics is gonna determine if Rome has a chance to turn this around, and it indeed looks like.
And I think they have a lot of ammo too. I think he has a lot of ammo.
Totally. It's very rare that you see a slinger unit run out of ammo in this type of engagement where it's sword versus sword and they're moving around a lot. They don't have a lot of time to kind of sit down and fire. And now it's going to come down to which units they target fire. You can see now he's shooting at the Oathsworns. I actually don't know if that's... I don't know if that's the best.
I think it is. They're turned around. They're not looking at the Balearics. It's going to get some rear shots off.
Look at this. This is what you do. This is what you do. This is the better option. Look at how quickly those Thracians are going to drop. They're now starting to get pulled into
very
a
low armor, only 30.
Indeed, he needs to kill them. They're the easiest units to kill with slingers that can do the most damage with the least amount of armor. Oathsworn, you're going to waste a few volleys before you get through that incredible amount of hit points. But these Thracian warriors now, they're going to get absolutely shredded by these slingers.
No question, this was a good choice. Yeah, this was a good choice. I think he could have done a lot of damage to that Oathsworn as well, and that's the most dangerous unit on the field. But you're right, the Thracian warriors were going to chase the Balearics, and they can do so much damage. They just routed. So Oathsworn are engaged now, and they are going to get surrounded here by legionary cohort. It's the Saudi on the front though, so the Oathsworn will actually be fine. And it's going to come down to those skirmishers. The Balearic Slingers are going to change the outcome of this game one way or the other. If they can do enough damage here, they can rout the main line for Tylis. But this is going to be really close, I think. And
it's incredible. Yeah. Some of the kills on these units here shows you how long they've been fighting. The Oathsworn for Duck is at 175 kills. It's just incredible. But the Slingers are real. They have done so much damage in this fight, but look at the Roman infantry is starting to waver and break. It looks like there's too many. There's too many barbarians on the field this day in Pride.
No, I think with the cavalry and the skirmishers, he still has plenty of opportunity to watch. The Oathsworn are dropping really fast right now. I think he should stop wasting the ammo though, because he's shooting the front of the shield, so he should stop shooting there. But he has cavalry. He's rear charging Thracian warriors, and the legionary cohort are still holding strong for the moment. They're not going to win that engagement, but he can still win this game. Absolutely, he has his general alive, and
I don't know.
Duck doesn't. I think he can win this, and balance bar is starting to shift in his favor.
He needs to run out of that forest now. If he wants to win this game, he needs to run.
He needs to stop shooting.
He needs to run and park. He can't just sit there because now he needs to run now with his slingers.
Yep.
If he just sits there and lets the slingers, there they go. The slingers are gonna start going, but they're going the wrong way.
Yeah, that wasn't the best. He's gonna be able to disengage, but he's gonna lose some men here that he shouldn't have. He's gonna tie down with the Legatus. And this is what you want to do when there's an isolated unit here. You separate your skirmishers, send one way, one the other way, and then you shoot it from multiple angles. And obviously the Oathsworn can't face both directions. So if he can disengage, which he should be able to, he should be able to run away from. Yeah, they're exhausted and they're heavy infantry, so he should be able to disengage. His general's still alive at the moment.
I don't understand the decision to fire into these units here. Like I guess the Oathsworn can't catch the slinger. But it was really dangerous. He was firing over the head of his Legatus, who is doing melee work. He's just attacking and attacking.
They're up to 100 kills on his general.
Yeah, it's
you don't see that very... Oh, there's another tribal warrior, 87 men, which... I don't know if it came back from routing or it's been there the whole time, just not moving.
It's been there. It's been there.
I wonder why he's not moving it. His camera must be at a weird orientation where he can't see it. That's very strange. I think Duck has won. I think the slingers are out of ammo. Panda let them engage, and his general's about to rout. Yep, I believe that Duck has this one, and yep, mass wavering. Wow, that was a crazy battle. I thought Rome was going to turn that. He
was
actually
absurd.
does have some ammo left in them, and they haven't routed yet, but they won't be able to do enough on these tribal
Yeah, I
warriors
think
in the O-Storm.
there's the GG's drop. GG!
GG, boys.
I think at the end of the day, it came down to the use of that one-line tactic. Panda Warrior started the game off with nicely compacted legionary units. The way you want them to fight is together and in ranks. He had a line of Hastati, followed up by a line of veteran legionaries and legionary cohorts, and even an Evocati cohort thrown in there. But then when that mini engagement happened on the side, he was forced to send lots of units. His cav was overly committed to 2 Thracian warriors, and he ended up losing so much. And then spreading his line into one long thin line, and that's how Tylis wants to fight Rome. Get that charge bonus across as many units as possible, and then you had the Thracian warriors on the other flank, who just absolutely did so much damage with that one Oathsworn, raking in 244 kills.
Really, really well played from both players. I think that was a really close engagement. I think the way AggonyDuck engaged there was absolutely fantastic. There were a couple micro mistakes there, like at the end. The Tribal Warrior was kind of just sitting around. I'm not really sure what happened there, but he did really well with the Thracian Warriors. Look at how cost effective they were. 112 kills on a very cheap unit, 76, 66, 56. Did very well there. And just in general, very good engagement from Tylis all across the line. I think Rome did everything he needed to win the battle. It just ended up shifting there at the last little bit of the battle. But I think Panda played very well, and his engagement was pretty good as well. Blair Slinger's 120, 137 kills. Very nice skirmishing from him. Couple minutes anyway, so we'll see how these engagements progress. And remember that even though a lot of these Lusitani units are doing well at the moment, they get destroyed by skirmish fire. So if he manages to keep the rest of these alive, doesn't make any more mistakes, and he cannot make any more mistakes this battle, he has a chance.
I don't know, man.
But this is going to be a huge
always,
uphill battle.
You always have a chance, but like his flanks have just completely been eaten up. These guys got 0 charges. His middle now is just going to get charged.